Well, it's not the passion, it's the concern and worry. When I was 12 years old, I went to swim in a lake. And I was almost dying in that lake because the water was too deep, much deeper than I thought. But 5 years ago, I went that lake again. The total lake was dry. A lot of people have a disease. And the second concern of the young colleagues died of cancer. 20 years ago, very few people have heard about the cancer, the word, but now most of the families, my friends, they have people have cancers. So if we've been working so hard, if we work so hard and put all the money in the hospital, buy medicine, it will be a disaster. Why we should working? So if without a healthy environment of this earth, no matter how much money you make, no matter how wonderful you are, you have a bad disaster. So it's the concern we have. So we started 6 years ago, put 0.3% of the money of the total Alibaba revenue on encouraging, enable all the young people to find creative ways to solve the problem. And I think the money is always not enough, but the money we use try to wake up people's consciousness. Should know that the climate change problem. They should agree that the water is a problem, the food is a problem. So that is what we think. And after we're doing that, we think, because what Alibaba believe is, where is the opportunity? The opportunity always lies the place where people worry. If you solve the worry problem, that's the greatest opportunity you have. So after 5 years, we find this is a huge chance. So as you said 2 weeks ago, Bill Gates called me about inviting me, join the force together, investing in the clean technology. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I think it took me and the company believe this is something that we can do the contribution. As I say, we are not a big company. Compared to 15 years ago, we are big. But compared to 15 years later, we are small. But if we do not care about this earth, we do not care about the water, food, the environment, I think nobody can survive, whether you're big or small. So this is the concern. This is the worry I have. I think today people worry a lot about the world, about the economy, China economy in the world, but I'm very optimistic. When people start to worry, that is the opportunity is. Right? I worry about the blood testing, and she created good things. And I think great innovations, great companies always happen in the tough times. Life's like the music. You have up, you have a down, you have a long, you have a short notes. And I like your American movie, life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get, right? So I'm pretty optimistic. The opportunity in the future for equality is huge, because in the last century, the IT is for big companies. The globalization is for big companies. But now with the technology, we can serve those 80% of the companies that have never been served. We can serve the 80% of the young people that have never been served. Technology for internet is so cheap, so easy to use. One of the reasons why we grow in China e-commerce so fast, much faster than the USA, because our infrastructure of commerce in China was too bad. When it is too bad, something happens and goes. Today we are working on the rural areas of China. I can never imagine that China, about 800 million people still live in the rural areas, are farmers. And there are about close to 200 million people. Their income is less than $1 per day. And before the internet, it's impossible for these guys to reach the PC because it's so difficult. Even people like me, I don't know how to use a PC. But now 80% of the farmers, those people using mobile phones. When you have the mobile phones, the internet, the data, things change a lot. So I'm excited about the future. People always worry. That's I love the young kids sitting there and talking about the dream, their hopes, because if they have the hope, we have the hope. That's what I believe. I feel so excited by hearing the story. Like startup for entrepreneurs like a baby. And I have 5 babies so far, experienced a father. Do
you love them all equally, or is there?
Yeah.
Do you have some favorites? You shouldn't say that.
I do. Alibaba, Alipay, Taobao. These are the kids that I have. But one thing, my advice, we just had a discussion at the back office that Nobody can help you. We can only help ourselves. Investors, government, and partners, they are uncles and aunties. You are the father. You are the mother of the kid. Don't give up the kid. Because when we start up talking about our kid, our passion, it all sounds crazy. But you are the guy, take care of the kids. But what we do is that we are a platform. Our job is to enable. On the 11/11 day, we sold $14.5 billion, and this year we got like $500 billion sales totally on our platform. We do not sell anything. We empower others people to sell. So our platform is to empower the small business to realize their dreams. Company like that, we have a company that is, they have an app helping trucks because the truck logistic, they normally deliver things from this city to that city full of packs. When we come back, all empty. So the applications try to making sure all the truck drivers can find the resources. So our technology and platform try to empower this company. And last year alone, they saved $1.5 billion US fuel because of the thing. So I think using the technology in innovative ways, and all other things, big companies, it's difficult for big companies to keep the innovation keep on. The innovation is always outside your company. So for us, when we see companies like that, we're excited, we put the money inside, we're using technology, and we also promote them on our platform if they are environment friendly.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, we never know that we can grow so fast. In the past 5 months, we covered 4,500 villages. And these people, normally they using very traditional way. It took them like we went to a rural area. It took them, the farmers, 2 hours to walk to the downtown in the middle of the town and buy things. But today, because the mobile phone, and we can deliver things to their home, to their village within 72 hours. I remember last week I read a very interesting news. This is amazing. There is a girl, she told me a story. She said her grandfather, 92 years old birthday. And for his life, he always wanted to try one Western style food. But he lived in the rural areas. There's no such restaurant food. So she said, I tried on the internet, book a restaurant dinner for Western food, delivered to that village. And they finally immediately find one restaurant. There are 3 guys. They took like a 3 days bus from Shanghai to that village, made an Italian spaghetti and beef for them for this 92 years old birthday. And whole village was excited. Everybody said, wow, you can order food, Western style food. So buying almost everything. And also we're helping, there are a lot of farmers, they plant a lot of apples, great apples. But 90% of the apples rotted because there's nobody buy them. They normally buy by track. If you sell the apples, they sell whole track. And using the traditional way, they can sell by whole basket of the apples. But now, because of the internet, they sell by one. Each apple, they sell $1. Or 1 RMB or 2 RMB for each. So the farmers see using internet, they can buy and sell using the mobile phone. That changed their lives. And I think it's exciting. And people need examples when they see, my neighbor made money through online to selling things. My neighbor buy much interesting things online. People start to learn. And more people start to buy the mobile phones. We cannot make all the mobile factories to sell phones to them. Only they know the mobile phone really works, helping change their lives, they start to buy the mobile phones. Yeah, I think I take China for example. I think today, because of the air in Beijing, the smoggy, it caused attention and government and all the business changed a lot in the past 4 years. I just came back from Beijing 4 weeks ago. My throat was painful. And I think we organized called a Paradise Foundation. I invited 45 business leaders in China. All joined, all put the money inside. And we think that there are a lot of things business should do. It's too late to complain whose fault. Whether your fault or my fault, let's solve the problem together. It's the combined work of government, private sectors, scientists, and sociologists and philanthropists. We have to work in together. So I think the thing is that how we can work in a way more efficiently. I believe always you should have a philanthropic heart inside, but business way, because you have to get the things down. That is why scientists tell us how to do properly. Business should tell us how to get things done efficiently, and government should have the good environment and the foundations of researching. And also we need a lot of media's guide to tell people how we do it. But I think this area, Asia Pacific, especially China, we are taking good actions, but we need to do in a way that is really workable. I bought a big piece of land in Brandon, Adirondack in the States, the forest. The reason I bought it is not for buying the forest. The reason I bought it is by the experience of how America solved the problem in the last century, 30s. How they solved the problem there. It will bring the technology, bring the know-how back to China, back to this part of the world. I think it's the opportunity. Good. And it's too late to worry. We have to make action, join together. This is what we believe.
Yeah, Daniel, I think the last week I was in Seattle discussing about the China economy. I think you American people worry too much about the China economy. Well, you see, every time when you start to worry about China, China goes better. Every time you think China is in problem, we'll get better. But when you have to say, you have a high expectation of China, China always a problem. Like parents have the expectation of the kids, are the same. But there's a big difference between American consumption, because people say, well, the economy is bad, so China consumption will be good low. No, totally different. You Americans love to spend tomorrow's money. And the other people's money, maybe. Or maybe the children's money. We Chinese love to save money. We are probably the largest country, the safe deposit in the whole world because we've been poor for so many years. When we make money, we put in the banks because someday we know the disaster is coming, so we can spend the money. So when the economy is bad, we still have the money to spend. You guys probably don't. You worry. And the second thing is that China been focusing on developing for the past 30 years. China government so strong on investment, so strong on exporting, but they are too weak on the domestic consumptions. Domestic consumption is not driven by government, it's driven by entrepreneurship, driven by the market, not the government. So in the past 20 years, government is so strong. Now they get weak. It's our opportunity. It's our showtime to see the market economy, entrepreneurship, how we can develop the real consumption. I think if the China develop the great consumption, we have a 300 million middle class. In next 15 to 20 years, we're going to 500 million middle class. We need to import a lot. So when we start to import, that's great. I worry a lot when we export. When we export, we got a terrible sky, we have a terrible water, we have a terrible environment. When we start to import, we got to be better. So that's all the great opportunity, guys. Be happy about that. I'm serious.
I agree with that.
I'm serious. Yeah. Think about 19, where I am. 19, I've not passed the examination for university yet. I failed 3 times, but
I think it worked out.
I'm not good at schooling. Well, yeah, that's why I give confidence to a lot of young people in China. If Jack Ma can be successful, 80% of the people can be successful. People like her, we're jealous. Well, equality, I would like to make a little bit of technology helping, because yesterday I was joining the UN Women Conference about gender equality. And I think the first technology revolution happened 200 years ago in the UK, released the human body, the arm, stronger. The second technology revolution in the USA for energy, you can last long. But this technology revolution release the brain. So this century is not a competition who is stronger, whose muscle is stronger. It's who is smarter, who is soft, who can listen. It's the challenge of wisdom. So man and woman are equal. On the internet, you can never see he's a woman or man. And on the internet, women can serve much better than men on the internet. You know, men talking about the business, talking about numbers, competition, they make business very cold. Women, they make business very cozy, lifestyle, and interesting. 50%, more than 50% of our shop owners, more than 5 million shop owners are women. And people love that. I mean, this is the great thing I see, that this century we see more and more women leaders, on the state leaders, the presidents. In the future, we're going to General Secretary of the United Nations should be a woman leader. And this is the great century for equality. And I feel excited about that. Yeah, I am a strong believer that technology can make the world much better, because people say China economy is getting slower. I'm happy about the 7%, even 5%. Even 5% of the GDP of the number of China, of the second largest economy, is big enough. But you don't expect China to keep on growing 11%. Because like one human body, when you're 1.8 meters tall, you cannot keep on like a 10% growth every year. You have to grow the quality, your mind, the wisdom. So I think China needs new technology to solve these problems, and which today the data, the clean technology, all these things that China is supposed to do, if we keep on the tradition, the old ways, we'll go nowhere. This is why I feel excited, because people ask me, what is your dream now? Because I never thought I would be today. I can sit here talking to president. I'm like a guy, on the street, and like failed 3 times for university, 5 times for high key schools. I applied for 10 times in Harvard School, all rejected. I never thought, because of the technology, because the internet gave me this opportunity. So I think when I retire, I don't want the Chinese people have a terrible water to drink, unsafe for food, and the money we make all spent in the hospital. That's disaster. So how we can use the technology to enable young people, the great chance of this world, don't worry about it. We got 1.4 billion people who were born in 1980s. They are the people of the internet times. They are going to have new ways to solve the world problems. The things you are worried about today, they can solve it. And human beings have these kind of worries for centuries. And young people can always solve it. And today, when you have a right direction, clean energy, the climate change, all these issues, they will be solved, and these are the great opportunities ahead of us.